I could never truly describe the beast before me. It wasn't because I didn't know the right way to articulate it. I knew exactly what to call it. I simply could not comprehend the jackal. It was as if I was viewing it from the extremities of my peripheral vision. It was blurry and soft and weak. Weak because it had no hard angles or edges. No matter how hard I looked, how much I stared, the jackal remained hidden to me, a formless shape hidden under a veil of unreality. The cave paintings, carvings, whatever adjective I attached to them, were truer than I ever thought. Even after the jackal had turned out to be real, they depicted a blurry, formless jackal. And so it was. Yes, I knew exactly what it was. Indistinct. Ashley, however, was not. I looked at him in horror. His body was covered in blood, flesh, and other less identifiable materials. I could count at least 8 visible wounds, and more red lines than I couldn't distinguish from the gore saturating his form. A gaping wound cut across his stomach, revealing intestines, pink and rubbery. Blood flooded from multiple slashes on his arms and legs. He was probably dead. Certainly unconscious. But that wasn't the worst of it. His entire right ear had been torn clean off from his head. Bile rose from my throat as I stared at his mangled form, horrified. The jackal had done this to him. As I thought of the beast before me, I realized that the cavern around me was silent. The jackal's screech, so loud to begin with, had been cut off instantly, some moments previous. Unlike the gradual decline that was characteristic in humans. Then again, it isn't and has never resembled anything close to a human. I would wager every possession I own it had no similarity to any creature of this dimension. I can't even begin to consider its true form. Even as I watched, it got infinitely worse, until Ashley began to move through the air. I hadn't even noticed that he had been airborne, so enthralled I had been by his ravaged body. Slowly, never wavering in speed, Ashley began to recede towards the blurry shape that represented the jackal. I thought back to the carvings in horror. With every sacrifice it gains form, and so a greater foothold in the dimension. I wanted to rush forward and tear Ashley from the jackal's thrall, but to come within reach of the creature would mean an unspeakable end, one that I would have already faced had I not wounded it with a psychic supernova. Suddenly, Ashley stopped moving, mere meters from the jackal, and I realized in shock how the jackal had previously communicated. Through Ashley. Now I know why I recognized that voice, even distorted as it had been. Ashley's mouth opened, and from it roared the jackal.
You will suffer for using the glow against me. Suffer as he did,
roared the grotesque Ashley jackal hybrid. Evidently, it only knew the light that had hurt it so, as the glow. It didn't matter. The important thing was that it had been hurt, and badly. I probed my mind. No trace of the jackal's presence remained. Apparently that part of it, physically manifested in the virulent darkness, had been either destroyed or banished by my mental counterattack. Even if I meet my death here, beast, I will do my utmost to bring you with me, I responded bravely. The saturating fear and accompanying thoughts, which had so crippled me both mentally and physically, was gone. Now I could see the jackal, regardless of how well I could comprehend it. Much of the terror that I had felt at the hands of it was gone. Just like the virulent darkness. Even the voice was less intimidating now that it had a definitive source. It spoke again.
I have consumed many. This one is the last. I will be free from my prison.
The jackal bellowed, drawing Ashley towards him. No, I whispered. I sprinted towards them, no matter the cost. Even if it was my life or my sanity, I could not allow the jackal to consume Ashley and escape whatever prison it had been incarcerated in. Such a beast would wreak unimaginable destruction on the surface. I pulled a silver piece of equipment, the last thing I had taken from Ashley's pack, the flare gun. As the jackal and Ashley came together, I drew and fired. And the world exploded around me.